Good morning, everyone, from Ozark Living Homestead. It's July the 10th, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I got some good news. The goats are gone. Yep, they're gone. You can see their shelter, which was right there. It's even gone. The pen's empty, and I normally turn them loose every day out, but they're already out. So, yep, they got evicted. But the good news is they moved to their new home. They're no longer in this small holding pen that was supposed to be temporary anyway, that will eventually be the orchard. And as you guys know, the pen over by the road that I had put up, they're now in it. We'd always let them out during the day, and let them over there in the morning for 3-4 hours till the sun got very hot. Because they didn't have any shelter, we'd let them back on this side. That way they could get up in the woods, up in the trees, and get up under shade, and not be so hot. But we moved we moved the shelter out yesterday. Got it out there, so now they're in they have all the shelter they want, and they spent their first night out. All right, I'm gonna walk you guys over and show you the new setup. All right. Yeah, here's their new setup. They spent their first night out here, and like I said, I got the shelter out here, so I felt real comfortable leaving them out here. In no way left them out here with no kind of shelter whatsoever. During rain, or they can get out of the hot sun or whatever when they need to. And it was so funny yesterday. They kept waiting at this little gate, because this is the one I let them in and out of, during the day. And there is a bigger gate right up there where I could actually drive in, or go in anytime I need to. But this little one I put here to go in and out, just to go in and out there to feed or water or whatever. So I wouldn't have to walk all the way up to the big gate and open the big gate to go in. But yeah, they actually spent the day, did good, no problems. I didn't expect any problems. I don't run the air conditioner on the camper at night. Well, occasionally I do. There's been a couple of 3 hot nights, but most of the time it's pretty cool. Like last night, it got down into probably the mid-60s, which has been very nice. In fact, I haven't even turned it on this morning. It feels pretty nice outside. I think it's like 69, 70 degrees right now. Relatively low humidity, not too bad. But yeah, it's kind of cool. They don't have to wait for me to let them out in the morning and bring them over. They can just wake up and start eating, which is what they do. And but they still kind of hanging around this gate here, like they're waiting for me to let them out, to let them come back. It was so funny. Like I said, they were like kids waiting at the gate, wanting to come out and come back home. But this is now home. And occasionally I'll let them out to roam the property over there. But there's one of the babies right there. And the other one is right there. And then, of course, there's the ram sheep. He's just standing under there looking at me. He's probably, he's I don't know. I don't know nothing about sheep. But this thing, he'd just rather eat than anything. He's just a big old pet more than he is anything. And there's my main buck there. Who's kind of ornery, but hey, I reckon that's what bucks are. Now this one, I bought him when he was a very young buckling, over a year ago. But I wasn't sure which one I was going to keep, but I think I'm going to sell him. And of course, both of the babies are buckling, so they're going to get sold too, because I have no use for a bunch of bucks, and I'm not at the point where I'd have time or had this set up to actually butcher them. So, you know, come next year, you know, if we have any bucks. Which is funny. If you notice that little guy over there, right there, he's the oldest. Now this guy here, he's about, I want to say about 2.5 weeks older. Look at the difference of the horns. I don't know why that is. Plus he's a lot taller. He's just going to be a lot bigger goat. I'm honestly thinking very seriously about holding him back to see what he turns out, how big he is, and how much meat he puts on him for breeding. The little one over there, he's stocky, but he's just short and stocky. But so, you know, his mom's short too. She's very small, but she's a Boer Kiko cross. And his the brown one over there, his mom, that's her right there. She's a Boer Kiko cross too, but I think she has more Kiko in her. But he's going to be a big goat. I mean, he's catching up to her already, and he's only just very few months old. So, but anyway, guys, it's a very peaceful, quiet morning out here this morning, Sunday morning. The guy that owns the cows over here, he was down this morning. He always brings, well, one of his employees brings grain down, and the cows know it, and they'll head down here. And it's like they have an internal clock. They wait on him. They know he's coming, and he just dumps it in the troughs to eat, and then they head back. Some of them have already head back already. I'm going to take you guys over and show you the solar panels I've actually been working on. Well, kind of playing with, trying to get them ready, figure them out how I'm going to hook them up once I get the cabin done up there, enough to get them hooked up in there and get the electric up there. But I'm going to take you guys over and show you what I've been doing with those and kind of explain a little bit about them. Okay, guys, this is the first panel that I kind of pulled out and just hooked it up and played with it a little while to see how I was going to hook it up, try to figure out how I was going to hook it up. Just messing with them. But this is a monocrystalline 160 watt panel. Actually, this is one of the very last ones I bought. I had some more, and I still have them inside in storage. I haven't pulled them all out. You know, it's one of the things I probably should have done. It would have been saving me on what electricity I do use. But, you know, honestly, my electricity, well, it will go up in the summer, and then the winter it really went up because of the heat trying to, you know, basically heat a tent. But it actually worked out. But anyway, that's 160 watt monocrystalline. My phone's ringing. I'll catch it, or they'll leave a message. This one is hooked up to, right now, I had it hooked up to the battery bank. And it doesn't put out a lot. I think the maximum it put out, I think it's 7.5 amps, and that's in full sunlight. It's not going to give you a lot. When you just have one, and I had it hooked up to the battery bank, you know, it kept them topped off. I could run a little bit off of it. But right now, I pulled this one out a couple of days ago, and it's one of my 225 watt polycrystalline panels. I got this one, well, this one here was hooked up to the battery bank. Well, when I pulled this one out, I now hooked this one up to the battery bank. And I had this one hooked up to, that I just got about a week ago, I think they're called SunForce. Not exactly sure, but I think it's a SunForce. It's one of those plug and play grid tie inverters. You know, of course, they're not the greatest in the world, but I mean, they actually seem to work pretty good. And all the reviews I've seen on them, they actually work pretty good. Basically, you just hook your panel to it, you plug it in the wall, and it, you know, if you're not using it, you know, it just pumps juice back into the grid, or you're actually using it, you know, because you always have ghost appliances or whatever that are draining your electricity. But one of the things about the monocrystalline that I think I mentioned before that I like, and I think I'm going to stick with them and keep buying just the monocrystallines, they work in very low light. They actually work when they're shadowing. And they do very well doing that. I got this one off of eBay, and if you guys are interested in it, these things, the monocrystalline, let me explain this. The monocrystalline, from what all the research I've done on them, for years, were always the more expensive, no matter how many watts, how big, were always the more expensive panel. Because, and you can notice the difference in the colors. And I'll see if I can take you up and show you closer, but these produce power, like I said, in the shade or whatever, and it's the materials and the process that they make them that cost more. They made these to where they were more expensive. So a lot of people would buy the polycrystalline. Now, they both work fine. The monocrystalline, like I said, in shading, the shadows, low sunlight, I mean, after 8 o'clock at night, when the sun is completely gone down, it's still light, it's still just putting out a half of an amp or what, it's still trying to produce power. The polycrystalline, it's done. It doesn't do good with shading. It doesn't do good when it needs full sunlight. They work great, but a lot of things, a lot of people don't realize, and I've actually just learned this. When these things get very, very hot, they don't produce as good as they should. Heat makes them lose some power, not a lot. I mean, a half amp, whatever. You know, it's not like they're losing a lot of power. But these are not as good a power producers. They lose some power between transition compared to these guys right here. So I'm going to stick with the poly. Now, the polycrystalline, that's mainly what you see on the eBay and places like that. Everybody's selling those. They're cheaper to make. And again, nothing against the people out trying to make an honest living or whatever. Some of the businesses, some of the big businesses are not honest, but they're making more money off of these. You don't see many of these. And when you do see them, they're normally higher. Say, for instance, that's a 160 watt panel. If you were to buy that 160 watt panel and a 160 watt poly panel, you would pay more for this panel than you would the exact same panel but made out of polycrystalline, because of the materials that it costs to make them. And the companies make more money off the polycrystalline. Well, there's a seller on eBay that has these, and he claims that they're American made, and I'm sure some of the materials are probably not American made. I'm not saying they are, they not. They're probably, the panel's probably built and assembled and everything here in the United States. You know, the rest of, and I mean, the solar cells, they may be made here in this country too. Again, it all may be, I don't know. I'm sure there's some Chinese or Taiwan or Mexican parts in there somewhere, the metal, the glass, I mean, who knows? But I'm sure there's some parts in there, but they claim to be American made. Now, if you guys are interested in these, I've had this one for about 3 weeks, I think. And I test it every day, 2 or 3 times a day sometimes, to see what it's putting out, what it's doing. I'm happy with this panel. And I'm not saying it's the best in the world. It has a 25-year warranty. I didn't have any problem getting it. I got here safely. And the seller on eBay, it's been on eBay for quite a while. I've never bought anything, well, no panels from him. But I've seen him on there quite a while. But if you guys are interested in getting one of these panels, now like I was going to say, I can put a link or send you a link. Just PM me and I'll send you a link to it, or I can put it up on the site. It doesn't matter. But 160 watts. Right now you can get them with the free shipping and everything, no tax, unless you live in the state that he does. I can't remember what state it was. You can get it for basically $1 a watt, and that's cheap for the monocrystalline. And I was on eBay for a couple hours last night looking for some stuff. The polycrystalline, if you get the same size panel, but in polycrystalline, almost every company on eBay right now wants probably $1.25 a watt versus $1 a watt for this one. Now, they claim free shipping. They're going to give you free shipping, but they want $1.25. You're paying for the shipping. They're adding it in, but they're saying free, but it's actually added into the price because, you know, just for instance, say I paid $160 for this panel. They want $175 or $180 for a polycrystalline, the same size, same wattage. Now, remember, the polycrystalline doesn't produce as good as the monocrystalline. So your better deal is with this one versus the other one that they're asking quite a bit more. And there's one on there that's pretty sneaky, and again, a lot of you know, and you've probably been caught up in this, and I've been caught up in it, and I almost got caught up in it last night. A guy had a 100-watt panel, or company, somebody, for a 100-watt panel for $89, 90 bucks. And I thought, that's 90 cents a watt, free shipping. Hey, great. But then if you read very closely at the bottom, it says there are no MC4 connectors hooked to the wires on the back. That's one of the ways they get you. So by the time you end up with this panel, you're going to get it for free shipping, but you're going to end up paying $100 for a polycrystalline panel. Again, you know, this is a 160-watt panel. It's not a 100-watt panel. I agree, but you're going to get it for $1 a watt. You're actually better off buying this one because you're going to get more production out of better voltage and everything and more amps out of it than you will the polycrystalline. Now, I'm not putting the polycrystalline down because they're good panels and they work good. But just for my research, and guys, do your own research because I'm far from being an expert on this stuff. I'm still learning, and I read constantly trying to figure this stuff out. But everything I've read, that's what it says. So I'm going with the monocrystalline, and that's what I'm going to put up on that solar track up there. I'm planning on putting 8 of these on there at 160 watts each. That's 4, 520. 640, 1280? Yeah, I think 1280 watts on one rack, if my math is right. But anyway, guys, I thought I'd just kind of throw this in there, and I'm going to try to do in a little bit, go over and do some more on that solar tracker and get some of that film. But yeah, if you guys are interested, like I said, just PM me or whatever. And you can see the sun's just starting to hit this one here. And they're both already producing. I checked them. They're not putting out a lot. But this one, like I said, I have hooked it to the battery bank. I swapped them. And this one's hooked to that little grid tie inverter, 600-watt grid tie inverter. And I don't have to worry about it. The sun hits it. If it does, it doesn't. It just pumps juice into the grid, or, you know, that I'll use up. But this one is taking care of my battery bank, and it's doing really good. I actually have a refrigerator running off the battery bank right now, and it's doing really, really good, side by side. So it's doing good, and that's just with the one panel hooked to it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. And if you guys like what you see and want to see more, just remember that little gear right beside the subscribe button. If you click on it, it has a place on there where you can click on notify me, and you just click on it, and then you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. And of course, like, subscribe, and share. All right, guys, have a great day. I got a lot of stuff. Normally, lately I've been trying to take Sundays. It's basically my cooking day, and I cook and freeze it, and then I just pop it in the microwave when I'm done at the end of the day because it's so late and I'm tired. But I got some other things I want to get done today as a possibility. May get some rabbits butchered today, you know, but there's some other things I just need to get caught up on. The range just put be back even farther behind than I wanted to be. So, but I'm going to get off here, guys, and you guys have a great Sunday, and talk to you later.